Coin Show podcast. The show about coins and coin collecting. And not just any show. This is the #1 coin collecting podcast, going 10 years strong. Here's Matt Dinger and Mike Nodelman on the Coin Show podcast.
I see what you did there. This is episode 191 of the Coin Show podcast. I'm Mike.
And I am Matt.
And on episode 191, we find out what Matt did on his summer vacation.
Yeah, good.
We'll talk about the coolest thing to walk into our shops this week. But first, as always, the news.
Okay, who's the news brought to us by this week, Mike?
The news is brought to you by hammers. From tack hammers to sledgehammers, by the pound, by the bag, or just times when all you need to do is get a bigger one. There really is no substitute for hammers.
Hammers. I love it. Those guys are great.
The United States Circuit Court of Appeals for the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit affirmed a preliminary injunction in the CFTC's anti-fraud enforcement action against Monex Deposit Company.
I saw this story. What?
And its affiliated companies and principals on July 20th. So the action revolved around Monex's Atlas program, which the CFTC charged with defrauding retail customers of hundreds of millions of dollars by operating their own unregulated exchange.
How does that work?
Well, I mean, they were doing transactions with customers that didn't involve the physical transfer of metal. And thereby were circumventing a regulated exchange. And so the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act of 2010, a result of the 2009 financial crisis, requires trading of commodities be conducted on an exchange subject to CEA and CFTC regulations. So Monex has claimed that they were exempt from regulation because their transactions did not result in actual physical delivery of any metals. But the court affirmed that the CFTC had authority over this exchange, even though Monex did not make any, quote, actual delivery of metals through the Atlas program.
They were just selling it on paper. I get it now. Got it.
Right, so they were creating their own derivatives, which really does kind of fall under Dodd-Frank. That was the whole point of Dodd-Frank, was to keep stuff like that from happening.
Right. Well, that's not good for them.
No, certainly not. So yeah, that should definitely not be good for business.
No.
The Proof 2021 W Silver Eagles went on sale without a hitch. Woohoo!
Did you buy some?
Yeah, huh?
Did you buy any?
In related news, Santa Claus is considering retirement, and the people of Hades are requesting cold weather garments.
Something's frozen over.
Yeah, so no, I actually didn't get I had them in my cart 3 times.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I was on vacation, so I didn't even bother.
Yeah, I just wanted a couple. I got into the site. The site handled the traffic really well. It did not handle me trying to put in a credit card.
Oh, no. That's not good.
No. Yeah, so that was a problem. So the gold coins will go on sale July 29th now that everything is fixed, right?
Yes.
Now, I don't really see this as being a test at all. The volume of the gold coins is not going to strain the mint servers.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. I don't think so. I think that they're going to be one of the smaller events that happen on their website this year, to be honest.
Yeah. So gold traditionally sells far fewer proofs. I would almost reflexively say that it's due to price point, but I don't collect them. So I'm not going to take a hard stance on this as being the reason why, but...
I mean, I bet you they sell more of these than they do the Type 1s and probably the mintage of last year's pieces. Right, because of the redesign, but I still don't think it's a website-breaking release like the Proof Silver Eagles.
No, it's not going to be like, let's say the CC Morgan dollars.
Yeah, right. The meltdown. Dear U.S. Mint meltdown.
There's another one coming. There is another one coming.
There most definitely is.
Yes, dear U.S. Mint. Let's see. So, next up will be pairs of American Eagle coins, both types, 1 and 2, but it's not anything like I expected.
No, I saw this.
No, so the Mint is releasing 200,000 Type 1 and 200,000 Type 2 Silver Eagles and 15,000 Type 1 Gold Eagles and 15,000 Type 2 Gold Eagles. They're going to be put into monster boxes that have nothing more than a label on them.
Okay.
Stating that these were the last 200,000 struck, and these were the first 200,000 struck, and the same with the gold, but being 15,000. Nothing but a label on the monster box.
Okay, so just
they're going to send them out to the bullion network.
Oh, so those can just go straight into slab saying one of last 200,000, one of first.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the Mint is strong-arming the bullion network on it.
Really? How so?
They're paying a huge premium on them.
Oh, no.
Yeah. There's no box, no docs, no nothing.
Yeah, that's
all
true.
This is a slab that says, this came from the last 200. It's got, God, I don't want to say it, but it's got our friend all over it.
Yeah, it's got mass marketing all over it.
All over it.
Yep. Ugh,
so,
gross.
Now here's another one. Later this year, the Mint is going to offer a 4-coin set of both Type 1 and 2 Silver and Gold Eagles. So it's one set, both Silver and Gold Eagles, with a limited edition of 500 sets. But these sets will include certificates bearing the Mint Director's signature, as well as authenticating the sets.
Okay, well, that's something. At least that's, something.
But these are I don't know. I mean,
the average Joe can't just go and buy one of these coins. They have to wait for them to be certified. They have to wait for them to be mass marketed and marked up extremely a lot.
Yeah, because buying a monster box of them is not going to be a practical thing for the average Joe, and there's just not going to be that many. Well, let's see. There's 2,500 ounces in a...
No, 500 ounces in a silver monster box.
500 ounces in a monster box. So 200,000, how many is that? 400 boxes?
Let's do some math. 500... Wait, no.
200,000 divided by 500.
I don't do math without a calculator. Yes, that's 400 boxes. Good job doing that in your head.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was
good. So 400 boxes.
Yeah. I mean, that's going out to all the distributors. So, there's 7 or 8 of those guys, and each of them will get several boxes, 10, 20.
And we'll get to more on them, too.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, So throughout this whole thing, the Mint is claiming victory over the cyborgs.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. The Mint has announced that they have identified and implemented a solution to mitigate bot traffic during order windows, thus solving many of the access problems experienced by customers trying to order products recently.
So what did they put out what they're doing, or are they not doing that? Because then that will just let the bots, figure out a way to get around that too.
Pay attention to security once or twice. So the Mint also implemented a new terms and conditions for bulk purchase program members, and continued membership requires agreement with the new rules.
So they can see who's using the bots. They just don't have a way to stop them.
Yes, I think that was so. The key to these, the new rules being any attempts by bulk purchasers to circumvent order limits through the use of multiple accounts or by hiring individuals to purchase on their behalf.
Oh, wow. So that's a big thing, actually. That stops...
That's a huge thing. So the Mint is reserving the right to review and cancel orders if they deem that an order limit has been violated.
Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but it does for... If you're in the dealer networks like we are, you see a lot of the dealers actually advertising on their personal Facebook account saying, hey, I need some help ordering this product. I will pay you X amount of dollars if you will order one for us. And now the Mint is saying, nope, can't do that anymore. So,
yes.
That's actually not a bad, that's something I never really thought about them doing, but I'm kind of glad they did.
Teeth in it. So bulk purchasers that violate the policy will be subject to loss of privileges for 2 consecutive years.
Wow. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
No, so look, I mean, I look at that as being good for us.
Right. That's good for the people, the junkie public.
Trying to do what they can. So let me climb down off the Mint's back and get, to the rest of the world numismatics. But if you have opinions on the subject, I have discovered that there are currently no posts. Hashtag Dear US Mint.
So if you're a social media butterfly, get out there, send the Mint your thoughts with the hashtag Dear US Mint, and we're gonna claim that sucker.
Right. So there have been no posts using that hashtag, but I have a feeling that if there started to be some that the Mint might pay attention.
That might not be that might be the most effective way we actually have as a group to get a hold of these people.
Yep.
Nice.
So,
I like it.
Hashtag Dear US Mint. So now on to the world of numismatics. The ANA will present its annual awards at this year's World Fair of Money in Rosemont, Thursday, August 12th at 3 p.m.
Nice.
So this
how many are you going to win?
Sorry?
How many are you slated to win?
Zero, the same as last year.
Oh, darn.
What's funny is I was looking through this list and I'm like, Coin Show Podcast.
Yeah, right. Oh, man.
So this year's honorees include Eric Holcomb, who will receive the Adna G. Wild Memorial Award, awarded to an ANA member who enthusiastically dedicates their time, expertise, and resources to strengthen the hobby, in particular to further the educational mission of the ANA.
Okay.
Sounds like what you do.
I don't know about that.
Just saying. Prue Morgan Fitz, who will receive the ANA's Medal of Merit, bestowed on members who have dedicated years of service to numismatics, and Michael Fulyans, and forgive me because I'm probably butchering his name, the 2021 Harry J. Forman Dealer of the Year. So Fulyans is a former ANA authenticator and grader, seminar instructor, as well as a dealer who has focused efforts on combating counterfeits and helping dealers who were victims of fraud.
Cool. Well, he
has in the past received the ANA Presidential Award, the Glenn Smedley Memorial Award, and the Medal of Merit.
Nice.
Yeah, so very, very fitting group of people. Maybe we'll get something next year.
Yeah, I doubt it. Highly, highly doubtful, my friend.
Look, eventually, okay,
no, I don't want an award.
People hear this show.
I don't want an award.
No, I don't want to be beholden to anybody.
That's my point. I don't want an award. Don't give us an award. I'd be upset.
No, I'll take the awards. I like awards. Awards are cool.
Oh, geez.
Don't say that.
Yeah. Well.
Collectors Universe CEO Joe Orlando has stepped down and will be replaced by Executive Chairman Nat Turner.
Oh, boy. Things continue to get shaken up out there on the West Coast, my friend.
It's really funny because that was the exact word I used in the next line. It says, this continues to shake up at CU. Yeah. So they continue to grow and expand into new ventures. They also say that the expansion will spur new growth rather than stifle it, saying that they will continue, quote, to expand its service offerings and continue to improve and increase the scale and operational capacity of items it can grade and authenticate, which sounds really corporate, but it just says we're going to start grading and authenticating more stuff.
Good for them. I mean, honestly, sometimes these kind of, big corporate buyouts, they actually do help us out. They do... these guys have ways that they've learned over running many different kinds of companies that they can, streamline things. They can make things better. They can actually make things better. Now, that doesn't necessarily come without more expense, which I fully expect to come. But, whatever new technology they can bring or new ideas that they can bring, I'm all about it. I'm ready to...
It's funny because you and I usually agree in principle on a lot of things.
I mean, I'm not happy about it, but there is a silver lining to this kind of cloud that's going on.
Sure, absolutely. It's not gloom and doom. But let me ask you a question: how many big corporations have you ever worked for?
I've worked for a couple, but on a very, very low level.
Okay, so I mean, not generally the best thing for a business is to. But the one thing that the major corporation has going for them. Piles and piles of cash.
I was going to say capital. Yeah, capital.
Right. So that's usually what happens with them. And for that, they end up being really good. But as they expand, they do kind of tend to become diluted. And I don't mean deluded. I mean diluted. And so sometimes that can kind of wreck what they do. In other ways, maybe they'll grow and look, we have enjoyed the third-party graders, and I think that we appreciate them probably better than any other hobby out there.
Yeah.
But there are some other hobbies that currently use it. There's the comic book market. There's the trading card market. But there are other things out there that they can authenticate, and I think that
sure,
growing their business in that direction, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, for sure. I can get on board with that. See, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. I promise.
The Perth Mint has made a notable change to the 2021 5-ounce Kookaburra coins, as was shown on our Facebook page today.
Yeah, I saw that story go by.
The design has been infused into the coin. This is a first for the Kookaburras, which the Perth Mint kind of prides itself on. These designs are changed every year, and amazingly, they continue to enjoy a really high demand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always kind of fond of the Kookaburras. Australian stuff is kind of in the middle. Perth Mint, especially, that stuff kind of falls in the middle for me. It's not my favorite stuff, but I don't hate it either. So
they run that really fine line between making too much of it and making just enough of it.
Right, and I think they're good at it too. I mean,
they change the designs on everything every year, which that I think is really kind of cool. So. Really interesting to note on this, although the obverse Kookaburra design is infused, Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, is rendered in high relief on the reverse of the coin.
Oh, so we get like extra queen? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, what I'm saying is the Kookaburra is pushed in and Her Majesty is pushed out.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying you get full on Her Majesty in all of Her Majesty.
Oh, full on Her Majesty. I like that.
It was something in her day.
Wow, that's funny.
America's Hat will issue silver-proof coins commemorating the 50th anniversary of Canada's aerobatic squadron, the Snowbirds.
Snowbird, that's cool.
So these coins will be struck in 999, I think 999, maybe 49 silver, and feature design elements plated in gold, enhancing the primary design elements, as well as Her Majesty herself.
Her Majesty makes an appearance every episode of the show. I've noticed this.
Look, I mean, she's on over half the coins in the world. How can she not make an appearance? We are not U.S. centric. We talk about news all over the place, and to be honest with you, some of the better coins and better designs out there end up having her face on the other side.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just seem to notice that more and more lately, that we have like 2 or 3 stories every time, and I get to look at Her Majesty.
Oh, hot babe. Well, so if you think that the U.S. Mint is the only mint that makes largely unknown commemorative circulating coins, you'd be wrong. The Great White North will also issue a circulating toonie commemorating the 100th anniversary of the discovery of insulin.
Wow, that's a talk about a stretch.
Hey, well, here's the thing. 4 Canadian researchers are responsible for saving the lives of countless diabetics with their research breakthrough in 1921.
I was going to say, it would make less sense if it wasn't discovered, or, discovery wasn't made by Canadians. Like if it was like a guy from Puxatawny, Pennsylvania,
Yeah, it's their gig. They should celebrate it. I think that they should. But here's the thing. Can you name any of the 4?
Well, I have the story here in front of me. I could.
I know, but no. I can.
Before today, I could not.
Yeah, except to read it in the article.
Yes.
But they won a Nobel Prize for it, so maybe we should.
That's great. And we're going to. Everybody that's watching the show is about to learn their names. Mike, would you like to read them?
No, you go ahead. You're looking at the story. I got my script in front of me.
Oh, okay. Frederick Banting, Charles Best, James Collop, and John McLeod. They discovered insulin.
Yeah.
And they're all Canadian.
Countless lives in the last 100 years.
Yes, they have. Cool. See, you learned something new on this show.
There you go. Canada will also release a 10-ounce silver coin to commemorate the centennial of their national colors.
What is it, just red and white?
Oh, well, here's the thing. When I saw this, I thought they were referring to their flag.
Oh.
But they adopted the current flag with the maple leaf in 1965. So What are national colors and why would they be meaningful to Canadians? Well, the colors of red and white made their way onto the flag as a result of a proclamation in 1921 by King George V, granting Canada a national crest.
I didn't know that either. See, we're just learning all sorts of new stuff today.
So historically, these two colors, with a U, have been associated with England and France, both countries playing an important part in shaping the North American country. The coins will have a proof finish, as well as a red colorized maple leaf on the obverse. They will be in true RCM fashion, limited to 800 total pieces.
Yeah, again, not very many. That's the one thing they do. They make a lot of stuff, but they don't make very many of them. So
now, I saw national colors and thought, what else? The flag.
Right.
But no, they mean actual colors with a U. And one of them isn't even really a color, is it?
White? I mean, it's a color. It's just...
It's not on the coin.
That's true.
Just saying.
That is a good point.
Like they're celebrating their national color.
The singular with a U.
With a U. Hey, it's never any good without you.
That's right. Oh.
That's what they got to say. And finally in the news, the Olympics have convened in Japan, whether that's a wise move or not.
I love the Olympics.
And as such, it brings to mind the age-old question, what is an Olympic medal really made of, and what are they worth?
I could ask this question about whenever the Olympics are on and people come in and want to know, so
yeah,
let's find out.
It's pretty consistent across the board. So every gold medal that athletes receive, this according to the Coin Week article, so every gold medal that athletes receive for their accomplishments is comprised of 99.9% silver. And plated with 6 grams of gold, weighing about 556 grams. Now, subtracting the gold from the silver brings the medal down to 550 grams in weight. Okay, and then the silver and bronze have lesser metal weights, 550 of the silver and 450 of the bronze, respectively. So, considering that 31.1, grams to an ounce, if you're talking 999 silver, the total amount of silver is 550 grams. So it's in today's market about $450.
Yep. But then there's 6 grams of gold. I mean, that's a lot of gold. 6 grams.
Right. So in addition to that, you had 6 grams to account for the gold plating, and that works out to be another $350.
So that's it. Really?
So combined, the gold and silver's composition value for the Tokyo Olympics gold medal is approximately worth $812. Get that out. $812, and the value for a silver medal is approximately $461. And the bronze medal weighs less, but has absolutely no precious metal content.
Wow. Well, now you know. I wish I had that sound bite.
No, that's copyrighted.
Oh, that's probably true.
Gotta be really careful with that. We've already made enough people mad tonight. Let's see. So let me get out of here. And so that's the news. Tonight, the news is brought to you by hammers. From tack hammers to sledgehammers, by the pound, by the bag, or just for times when all you need to do is get a bigger one. There really is no substitute. Hammers.
You're listening to the Coin Show Podcast with Matt Dinger and Mike Nodelman.
I love that you love that part of the show so much.
Oh, it's the best. It's one of my favorite things. There's like 6 things that in this show that I look forward to every time we do it. That's one of them.
Yeah, I like writing.
I bet you do. You're good at it.
So, buddy, let's see. If I had my way, we'd turn down the lights, and we would find out what Matt did with his summer vacation.
Well, I did go on a little trip. I don't get to go on many trips, so this was a lot of fun. My dad and I decided that we were going to go to the biggest little city in the world, Reno, and we went there for a little coin show. But just south of Reno, about 15 miles, is a town that you may have heard of, a town called Carson City. And
yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, right? I think most coin guys, especially American coin guys, have heard of it. So we took a day trip down to Carson City. So I wanted to kind of, I took some pictures, I took some videos. We're just going to run through this stuff, you guys. And I'm going to kind of show you what we did. And I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's check this out. Let me hit my button. Aha. So if you've never been out in this part of the world, it's absolutely beautiful. There's mountains everywhere. There's straight roads. This was actually us coming south out of Reno towards Carson City, the 15 miles through the Sierra Nevada mountains here. This was, we kind of took the scenic route to get there, but it's just absolutely beautiful out there. There's lakes and mountains and this was what you had to look at. And I caught myself imagining what this place was like in the 1870s when they founded the Mint out here. And the kind of people that were out here enjoying the same views that I was having now for the most part. And here's us kind of coming into Carson City, hopping off the interstate. And this, my friends, is what the Carson City Mint looks like today. Now, it has been repurposed as the Nevada State Museum at this point. Inside of the building is all relatively modern. But, the stone building itself and the beautiful steel shutters on the windows are still there, along with a couple other things. Now, this was one of my most favorite things that I took a video of. And these are defaced U.S. coin dies they had on exhibit. Now, they had a seated half-dollar die, an 1885 Morgan silver dollar die. They had a $10 Liberty die and a $20 Liberty die. Authentic Carson City dies on display that had been canceled with an X mark. Now, I'm sorry for the video guys. I am no videographer, just like I am no podcaster. But I got the best pictures I could behind the glass. I tried to get them to let me play with these. They wouldn't. So
those are cool.
Those are super cool. And,
super cool.
And with the provenance that these have, if they were available on the market, they're easily 6 figures a piece, if not more. So, you're looking at $500,000 probably right there or more just in those 4 pieces. Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing that, they were saved for some reason for posterity's sake by the Mint, and they were on display. There was a lot of really cool stuff on display before you actually got to the centerpiece of their collection, which we're going to see here in just a minute. They had a lot of really neat stuff in the display cases. They have, like as you can see back behind it, they had a bag. Here is kind of a display window that showed a bunch of stuff from the assayer's office that they had. They had the scales, they had the different chemical jars. And over here on the right-hand side, they had this really cool book, which I found very interesting. I actually stood there and looked at it for about 10 minutes. And this was the register of the Carson City Mint from 1870 up until 1893. So basically, anybody that visited the Mint had to sign in where they were from.
So that is just a register of people rather than a register of transactions.
Right. Register of people that came to visit the Mint, whether it was for business or otherwise.
And that is the entirety of the history of that Mint, 1870 to 1893, yes. And that's it.
Yep, that's it. Oh, I'm sorry, May 1871. So here is the coolest part, I think, of the Carson City Mint's collection. This is coin press number 1 from the Carson City Mint. This was originally a steam-powered coin press that was used at the Carson City Mint to strike everything that they struck. This was the first press that made it to the Mint when they opened. It was sent back to Philadelphia and then sent back to the Mint later to be put on display. Now, you can see right behind the gentleman here, this guy was actually really nice. I met him. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, and I'm so sorry. Very nice guy. He actually sat here and talked about the Mint, talked about the machine, talked about the flywheel there that was what causes, what is used to strike the coins, to provide the force to strike the coins. Today it's powered by an electric motor, but back in the time it was actually used, it was powered by steam. And now he said that this particular press could strike about 100 coins a minute. Now, can you imagine striking 100 coins a minute with this thing, with that 1,000-pound flywheel swinging around?
Now, is that one coin or is that 2 next to each other?
That is 1 coin at a time. As you can see here.
That's almost 2 per second.
I know. Isn't that insane? So in the front here of the machine was what looks like what's left of the old feeding mechanism. They were doing it by hand here, and I'm sure they didn't have the feeding mechanism up and running. But as you can see, if you go to the gift shop in Carson City, they actually sell these little certificates, and they allow you to go over here and have them strike you a token. This is him striking my tokens. And you can see his very, very efficient ejection system, which is a stick. But, they sit there and they strike their tokens for you. So there he slides the blank, and there's the lady showing the token. And as you can see, here he goes again, striking it, and then the press pulls up, and your token is made. He said that flywheel provides about 100,000 pounds of force.
Now, was that hot when it came out?
I don't know. I didn't grab it. They don't hand it right to you. They take it out. But yep, here he goes, striking another one. And again, like I said, today it's powered by an electric motor, but back during its operation at the Mint, it was powered by steam. So I could only imagine what these guys went through that were actually striking the coins in Carson City.
Mm-hmm.
I have some other pictures, which I'm going to be sharing on social media. He let me actually come around this glass area that they had and play with the machine, not necessarily punch the button, but take a look at anything I wanted to. So I have some close-up pictures of the coining chamber, of the plates on the machine that talk about where it was made, when it was made. So I have all that. I'm going to be sharing that on our social media pages over the next few days. So keep your eyes out there. But this was these guys actually striking these tokens, these souvenir tokens, on this original coin press. Now, this is a really cool piece, too. This is directly opposite the coin press. This is the Carson City Mint collection of everything they struck. So they have an example of every coin they struck at the Carson City Mint on display for you to look at.
Wow.
Yep.
All is circulated.
No, not necessarily. That was the thing. That was what really was interesting to me about the Mint.
So they probably had to go back and acquire some of them.
Right. They had quite a few coins on display, but contrary to popular thought, like I had the same thought you did going in. I thought, okay, cool. They have one that they saved from every, from every striking. They're going to have it on display. No, they did not. They had circulated coins. Their 1889 Carson City dollar was like a fine. They had a trade dollar. One of the trade dollars they had a hole in it. So it was actually really interesting to see. Now, here's another cool thing. This is more on some of the assay stuff. They would get these big bullion bars in from the mines or their assayers, and then they would actually have to turn them into blanks. So this was some of the tools they used to do that.
Purify it into, silver and gold.
Yep. So very cool stuff. They had an original bag. Yeah, here's some of the coins that they had on display. So here's some of the seeded dollars. As you can see, they're not all uncirculated. There are some circulated coins in there, which I thought, again, Carson City Mint, they're going to have, some really super nice examples on hand. But no, they just had some of the coins were actually circulated, like 1878 here. You can see from the picture that coin's like an extra fine. That's not a hard coin to find, so I was kind of surprised by that. But, for the average non-coin person, they can look at that and see an example of every one. And then you can see in the picture here, here's that trade dollar that had the hole in it. So, I was kind of impressed by the fact that they didn't have brand new stuff out. And then they have examples of all the different things that they struck. You see the $20 gold piece, the 10, the 5, the seeded dollar, the trade dollar, the Morgan dollar, the seeded half, the seeded quarter, the Liberty seeded 20-cent piece, and then the dimes. So, that was kind of the tour that I took of the Mint. They had other stuff on display, and here's the other side of that collection that they had out. And some of these coins have mintages. If you look, some of the coins they have on display here have mintages of 1,700 coins. They had some really rare stuff in there, and this was behind a vault door, behind a gated door, so you couldn't look at it at all. Yeah. So that was kind of my trip. It was a day trip. We got to see the parts of the Mint that I was really, really interested in. And I just wanted to share with you guys some of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed my look at the Carson City Mint.
So how long did you actually spend there physically?
We were there. It was a day trip. So we ended up being there about an hour and a half. Looking at some of the different exhibits that didn't have anything to do with coins, had to do with Nevada. We wanted to hit some of that stuff too, so we checked that out. It was really neat. I didn't figure that you guys would want to see my vacation pictures of other stuff at some museum, so I wanted to keep it kind of concise to what we were looking at. But
My question is more like with Comstock and the Comstock. How close is that to?
Well, the very cool thing is that was the second half of our day trip. And on the next episode, we are going to check out our trip up to Virginia City, where the Comstock lode was found. You always hear about it. It's about a 10, 12-mile drive. So by the way they were...
Like that the entire way?
No, you go up into the scenery. You go up into the mountains to get to Virginia City.
Good enough.
Yeah. So it was definitely a fun trip that I recommend. If you have a chance, go do it. I really enjoyed it being a coin guy. It was kind of like one of those bucket list things. I enjoyed it a lot. So, but yeah, next episode, guys. I went to Virginia City. There was a wildfire up that way, so it was a little bit harder to get good pictures, but you'll see that in the next episode. So tune in.
Okay, so
you're listening to the Coin Show podcast.
Well, we could just skip that part, right? We'll just
throw that one out.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Since we're done with that part, Mike, that really
leaves the favorite part of the show. So, look, I'm tired of being merciful, and I'm tired of being forgiving, and I just decided I'm going to just start bringing it. If you think I've been bringing it up until this point, which let's face it, I have, you ain't seen nothing yet. So tonight is one of those. So what I've brought.
Oh wait.
And now for the coolest thing to walk in this week. A competition segment between Matt and Mike to see who's had the coolest thing walk into their shops. Who'll win this episode? Let's find out. Matt? Mike? Who's got the coolest thing?
Well, since you were so excited to just jump right in, let's just pull yours up. Let's take a look at what you brought.
Hey, you gotta bring it.
Bring it. Let's see what you got here.
What I have here is a bus dollar.
Okay.
Look, anytime you have a bus dollar is always going to be a treat.
Right.
This one happens to be an 1802 over 1. And there are two varieties of the 1802 over 1. There is there's the wide 2, and there is the narrow 2, and it has to do with how close the two of them are put together, the 0 and the 2.
Okay.
And this particular coin, I don't know, it's really hard to argue with a grade of VF on it. I think that it's in really nice shape. I mean, it's got a couple of problems. If you really take a look at it, it has either a scratch or an adjustment mark. I won't really be able to figure that out until we get some of the crud off of it.
I was going to say, it looks slightly crusty.
Yeah, it's a little crusty, but I mean, this is how we got it, and we haven't messed with it at all.
Yeah.
This is completely original, so we'll take the crud off of it and just get rid of that. It has a really nice skin on it. It has a really nice appeal. Honestly, almost all of these coins have been cleaned at some point, so you can't really argue that it's original. You can't really argue that for most anything of these. But if you look, the stars are really strong. Liberty's complete. You can see details in her hair and the ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to the reverse, the shield is really strong, and the stars are well defined. The coin is fairly well centered. Something that I noticed about this coin that was different for me, I wasn't quite sure what to make of it, was it seems to be just slightly oblong.
That happens sometimes, yeah.
And I can see where the way that they're made on a screw press, how that could be a possibility. So it didn't concern me, but it was just one of those things. The edge lettering is crisp. E pluribus unum is strong.
Yeah, that's kind of where you start to look. I start to look on bus dollars when I'm grading them, is how much of E pluribus unum can I read? So, yeah, I think I agree with your assessment of like a VF.
High-end VF?
Yeah, like a VF, like a 30 would be my number, 35 maybe.
I think 35 is probably where it'll live when we get all the junk off it.
Yeah, nice coin.
So that's kind of hard to say. Oh yeah, that's nothing.
No, definitely not. But I hate to tell you, friend, I as well brought a crusty coin to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
I
see what you
brought
got.
an 1836 reeded edge cat bust half dollar in PCGS XF45.
Okay.
Now, if you don't know, the 1836 is the rarer of the reeded edge half dollars. They made them both in 36 and 37. In 1836, they only made 5,000 coins. So this coin has been certified by PCGS. I love the grade on this coin. There's some luster kind of hiding out in the stars on the obverse, and as well in the devices on the reverse. And it's just a dirt. I call them dirt balls. The coin is just absolutely crusty. Never really been messed with. Never really had that stuff stripped off of it because it's the original stuff. So,
The original.
Totally original coin. I like it a lot, and it came in this week.
About your coin. The 1836 is the first year that they went to the steam press, so it is the first year of the reeded edge.
Yep.
And so this was a new thing. So it's a fairly scarce coin, and to have one that is struck really well means that they were really paying attention to it.
Yep. So scarce coin, like I said, a mintage of 5,000 is nothing to sneeze at. It is a heck of a coin, and I was glad to buy it. We love stuff like this. So
I have to say that this is probably going to be the strongest competition between the two of us
we've had in a while. I know. Usually it's pretty hands down one way or the other, but
it's usually pretty hands down my way.
Yeah, you wish.
Okay, so what I'm going to prompt people to do is go to our Facebook page, okay, and there will be a poll up there tomorrow, according to our unnamed source, and he'll put up a poll, and you can vote to see which one you think is cooler, and we can find that out.
Yeah, Friends of the Coin Show on Facebook is the name of the group. Come find us.
Come find us. It's a close group.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, so we have brought them, another 45 minutes of fun at least.
Yeah.
Not bad out of a 55-minute show.
Yeah, no joke.
We've had one of the key sponsors of all time.
Hammers, I know.
Hammers, love them.
Those guys are great.
I see in the chat, some old friends and some new friends.
Yeah,
it's nice to see people come in and hang out with us and come and play.
Yeah, we love it.
Didn't really have a lot of questions this week. I mean, basically,
it's okay.
We were about the World's Fair money worth going to. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no joke. Definitely.
This, Anthony. We'll talk, because this is a guy that comes into my shop a lot. His name is Anthony, and he'll come in. We'll talk, and trust me,
set him straight.
He'll be there because it's the most amazing thing ever.
Yes. It sure is. And keep an eye on our social media. We're going to try to have a meetup. Details coming out soon. We just were talking about that right before the show. So if you guys are going to be at the World's Fair Money, it's probably going to be Wednesday, Thursday, something in there.
And you'll hear about it on episode 192, because we're going to do that on the Monday night before. So Monday night, we're still going to be doing our show. Then we'll have our meet and greet. We're going to do a little something. Then we're all going to enjoy the World's Fair money. And it's going to be an awesome time.
I'm stoked. This is one of my favorite times of the year. So, all right.
So the only thing I'll tell you about Chicago is if you're vaccinated, the city is open.
Yeah. Well, I am.
Good for you.
All right. Well, friend, let's wrap this sucker up. 191 in the books. Can you believe that? We're 9 away from 200. Are we doing anything special? Have we decided yet?
God, that's a lot of pressure.
I know.
Well, it's like this. We have to see, because for episode 100, we had a bunch of people come on, that were guests at one point or friends or something like that. And they were all like, hey, this is so-and-so, and you're listening to the Coin Show podcast. I'd like to do something like that with bigger names, but I don't know.
We'll see.
We're mainstream enough yet, which surprises me.
Don't want to be.
No, well, no. Look, I'm not looking to be a trusted media. I just want to be entertainment.
Right.
Infotainment. That's what we do. That's what I want to be. But at the same time, I think that what we do is on its face educational and is a positive contribution.
That was the plan. Nothing else.
Nope. Nope.
All right. Well, anything else you need to say before I punch this button and get us out of here?
No, that's pretty much it. Let's see.
All right. Well, then for the Coin Show podcast, I am Matt.
Right? No bucket, no drip.
That's right. I'm Matt.
I'm Mike.
And we'll talk to you guys next time on the Coin Show.
You've been listening to the Coin Show podcast with Matt Dinger and Mike Nottleman. The boys will be back soon with another informative and entertaining episode. Meanwhile, you can follow the show on social media at The Coin Show on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook at facebook.com/The Coin Show. You can also join their private group. Just search Facebook groups for Friends of the Coin Show and request access. But if you want to take it to the next level and support the Coin Show podcast, you can go to www.patreon.com/The Coin Show. If you subscribe at the $5 a month level or higher, you'll have access to Not the Coin Show podcasts on the off weeks, as well as other surprises reserved for our patrons. Visit our website at coinshowradio.com or download our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcasts. This has been the Coin Show Podcast.